Donald Trump has backed out of his commitment to debate Bernie Sanders. He released a statement that says, quote, based on the fact that the Democratic nominating process is totally rigged and crooked Hillary Clinton and Deborah Wasserman Schultz will not allow Bernie Sanders to win, and now that I'm the presumptive Republican nominee, it seems inappropriate that I would debate the second-place finisher. Likewise, the networks want to make a killing on these events and are not proving to be too generous to charitable causes, in this case, women's health issues. Therefore, as much as I want to debate Bernie Sanders and would be an easy payday, I will wait to debate the first-place finisher in the Democratic Party, probably crooked Hillary Clinton or whoever it may be. All right, so there's a lot to say about this. First of all, yes, Donald Trump unquestionably writes his own press releases. Other campaigns, you probably have staffers sit around in a room and they try to figure out, okay, how do we word this? How do we make this concise and smooth? With Donald, he just sits down. He's like, okay, give me my pen. Crooked Hillary Clinton has totally rigged the process. He just sits there and writes it all out himself. So that's the first point, non-important point, but nonetheless, I make it. And then probably the biggest point here is why? Why is he backing out? Now, he says, well, it's inappropriate. Since when the fuck does Donald Trump care about what's appropriate or not appropriate? He hasn't cared about that his entire life. Why the fuck would he start caring now? So what's the real reason why he decided, I'm going to back out of this? Well, very simply, he's scared. A lot of people will say, oh, come on, man. We're talking about Donald Trump here. The guy has no shame. The guy went on the stage in the Republican debates and curb stomped everybody. Yeah, that's true, but he was on stage with a bunch of other idiots in their Republican debates. In a debate against Bernie Sanders, yes, he can get exposed. Exposed in the sense that Bernie Sanders will be up there talking about policy substance and running circles around his punk ass, and he can't do what he does in the Republican debates where he ends up contradicting himself in under 2 minutes. Because if you contradict yourself and Bernie Sanders is on stage, he's going to call that shit out. And then you are going to try to do your bullshit salesman talk and slide out and be slippery, and it ain't going to work because he's going to continue to call out your nonsense. So is that the reason why I think Donald Trump backed out? Yeah. I think that he stopped and realized, hold on, whatever I think I have to gain about this, from this, perhaps I'm not actually going to gain because we got a guy in Bernie Sanders who, look at all the debates he did with Hillary Clinton. He won every single debate according to every poll, the Snap poll and the scientific polls. So what, Donald Trump thinks that he's above that and Donald Trump thinks that he can beat Bernie Sanders? Guys, there was a really telling moment before even the Republican debates that Donald Trump had in an interview where he said, look, I'm not a debater, so I have no clue how these things are going to go. And, maybe I don't win. He kind of admitted, like, I'm new to this whole debating thing, and perhaps I'm not going to be good at it. He said that at one time. Now, you could argue, well, that was strategizing to set the standards low and to put the bar low so that he can exceed the expectations. Or what he did is he just had a moment of slipping up and saying what was actually on his mind. And he, like we heard from some of his former campaign people at the beginning, he didn't even want to win this thing. He got in it from the beginning thinking, oh, I'll get my name out there more, I'll have fun doing it, and this is just be something that'll boost the Trump name again. But then it turns out that over time, none of the other idiots on stage could overtake him. Jeb Bush wasn't going to overtake him. Scott Walker dropped out in 0.8 seconds. Marco Rubio shat the bed. So nobody was able to overtake him. Next thing you know, he's like, oh, shit, I won. So here's a guy who at the beginning was like, I don't think I could beat anybody. I don't know what you're talking about. And then now he's faced with the prospect of actually debating somebody who knows their shit and is going to call him out, and he goes, oh, did I say I would debate you? Yeah, I meant the opposite. And, let's face it, guys, Donald Trump is just a liar. That's what he is. He said, I will debate Bernie Sanders. And the only thing he added on top of that was, as long as we raise money for charity. Well, you're going to raise the money for charity. Like what? Trump thinks he's not going to raise the amount of money? And he made the number really high because he wanted to make it so that we couldn't raise the money for charity. Dude, he said $10 million at one point. Okay, TYT alone said we're going to kick in $1 million and give it to the charity that they choose. What the fuck? So you have them kicking in that, and then there were 1,000 fundraisers online that popped up to say, yeah, let's raise the money to get the debate. You don't think you would have raised the money? Of course you would have raised the money. But it ain't about that. He was just trying to find a way to give him just just enough wiggle room to weasel out of this. And when he said it on Jimmy Kimmel's show, yeah, I'd love to debate Bernie, Bernie immediately responded, game on, let's do it. We're going to do it. This is happening. And then, of course, he backed out. So the main conclusion here, guys, is Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump have a lot more in common than you think, in the sense that they are both classic, sleazy, standard politicians who only make, their mind up based on how they think they can get ahead. That's not the case with Bernie. Now, obviously, it would help Bernie to have this debate too, but you're crazy if you don't think he's actually doing it for the ideas and for the policy substance and because he actually cares about the country. He just said in a recent interview that, you think I'm not afraid of Hillary Clinton losing to Donald Trump? I'm fucking terrified of it. Why do you think I'm going crazy here in California, busting my ass trying to win this thing? We know we beat Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton loses to Donald Trump. Of course, I'm scared that Donald Trump, this maniac, is going to take over the country. But you have Trump and Hillary. All they care about is their own ego and narcissism and getting ahead. It's not about the policy substance and not about the ideas, which is why when push comes to shove, they both backed out of a commitment to debate Bernie Sanders. Hillary Clinton had a commitment to debate him. She said, you know what? I changed my mind. I already feel like I'm enough ahead of you where I just got to run out the clock, dribble in circles here, run out the clock. So that's what I'm going to do. I want to pivot to the right, and Bernie's going to hold me to the left. So I can't lie as much as I want to, so I'm not going to debate him. And Donald Trump? Yeah, I'll debate him. Yeah, I'd love to debate him. Why not? I think it'd be great. And then, of course, he has to release a statement where he's still trying to, woo Bernie supporters in the statement, too, by the way. He's like, oh, it's so crooked, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz is terrible, and Hillary Clinton, they rigged the process, and Bernie can't win. That's why I'm going to go back on my own word to debate him. Well, you have a weird way of trying to win over Bernie supporters by snubbing Bernie and going back on your commitment to do something. Well, now we know, Donald, and we've known all along, but now many other people know, perhaps if they were considering voting for you if Bernie didn't get the nomination, you're just full of shit. You're full of shit in every imaginable way. No matter what you say, it's got to be taken with a grain of salt, even when people meet the requirements and the standards that you lay out for them. Hey, we got to raise money for charity. Guess what, bitch? We raise money for charity. Oh, did I say raise money for charity? I mean, it'd be totally inappropriate for me to debate you. Well, again, you don't give a fuck about what's appropriate in any other situation. Why do you care about it now? You care about it now because you realize maybe you'll fucking lose, and it'll be embarrassing.